من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب إلهنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. In this program, which is being presented to you from the holy shrine of Imam Rida, peace be upon him, I'd like to talk to you about your source of emulation. As you know, every Muslim who does not have sufficient knowledge of Islam and does not have the time and possibility to learn and study Islam individually should choose a source of emulation. But then, how can we have access to the opinions and views or fatwas and edicts and decrees of our source of emulation? One of the ways that we can have access to the opinion of our source of emulation for our religious practice is hearing it directly from himself. If that is not possible, we can rely on hearing it from a fair and just person, a reliable person, or a reliable media outlet, for example, the radio, the television, or alternatively, we can read it in the books that our source of emulation has published for his followers to practice Islam in accordance with his views and opinions. And finally, you may refer to the websites and other publications of your source of emulation, or a cleric who is familiar with the views of that scholar, that source of emulation. Another question that may be raised by some followers, by some people who rely on a source of emulation to practice their religion, is whether they can change their source of emulation, whether they can change their marja. If after choosing your source of emulation you realize that your source of emulation is not actually the most knowledgeable of all scholars or the most qualified of all the Islamic scholars, then it is obligatory, it is compulsory for you to actually make that change and follow the source of emulation who is the most knowledgeable and qualified of all scholars available. However, you are not permitted, you are not allowed to do it vice versa. In other words, you are already following a source of emulation who is the most qualified, but you'd like to change to another source of emulation. And some people sometimes do this under the pretext that my current source of emulation is very difficult and it's really difficult following him in certain areas of my faith, and I would like to change him and choose a new source of emulation who is more lenient in certain areas. This is not possible, strictly not possible. Finally, would it be okay to change your source of emulation from one source to another source when both are equals in terms of their qualification and knowledge of Islam? Neither is more qualified than the other. What is your duty here? Can you change from one to the other? Grand Ayatollah Imam Khomeini and Ayatollah Khamenei, they do not allow their followers to change from a source of emulation to another while both of them are equal in their qualification. However, Grand Ayatollah Sistani allows that, and you may change from a source of emulation who is equal in their religious standing and position to another one in the same level of the current source of emulation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.